I'm watching my grandson struggle with his math homework at my kitchen table, and I can see that familiar look of frustration on his face. The same look his father used to get when he was 8 years old, sitting in this same spot, wrestling with multiplication tables. And I'm fighting the urge to say something I wish I'd said to his dad 30 years ago. I'm Patricia, and I'm 72 years old. And there's something I need to tell every parent who's listening. Something I figured out too late to help my own children, but maybe not too late to help yours. 30 years ago, when my kids were 8, 10, and 12, I thought my job as a mother was to prepare them for the world, to make sure they turned out right, to fix their problems before they became bigger problems. I thought love meant constantly guiding them toward being better versions of themselves. I was wrong. My oldest, David, came home from school one day with a C+ on his science test. He was probably 10 years old then. He handed me that paper with his head down, already bracing for my reaction. And what did I say? I said, "David, this isn't good enough. I know you're capable of better. You need to study harder next time." What I wish I'd said was, "Hey, sweetheart, how do you feel about this grade? Are you proud of the effort you put in? What was the hardest part about studying for this test?" But I didn't say that. I jumped straight to disappointment and instruction. I made his C+ about my fears as a parent instead of about his experience as a student. My daughter Lisa was 12 when she came home crying because her best friend had been mean to her at lunch. She was heartbroken, the way 12-year-old girls get heartbroken over friendship drama that feels like the end of the world. And what did I do? I immediately went into fix-it mode. I said, "Lisa, you need to stand up for yourself. Don't let other people treat you that way. Tomorrow you march right up to Jennifer and tell her that behavior is unacceptable." What I wish I'd said was, "Oh, honey, that sounds really hurtful. Tell me what happened. How did that make you feel?" And then I wish I'd just listened. Really listened. Without trying to solve anything or teach anything or turn it into a lesson about character building. But I couldn't just listen. I was so focused on making sure my kids could handle life that I forgot they first needed to feel like someone understood what they were going through. My youngest, Michael, was different from the other two. Quieter, more artistic. He loved to draw and would spend hours in his room creating these elaborate fantasy worlds with dragons and knights and magical kingdoms. When he was 9, he brought me this beautiful drawing he'd made, so proud and excited to show me. And what did I say? I said, "That's very nice, honey, but have you finished your homework yet? Remember, schoolwork comes first." What I wish I'd said was, "Michael, this is incredible. Tell me about this castle. Who lives there? What's happening in this story?" I wish I'd sat down with him and entered his world for 10 minutes, instead of immediately redirecting him to what I thought was more important. The thing is, I thought I was being a good mother. I thought I was teaching them discipline, resilience, priorities. I thought my job was to prepare them for a harsh world by being a little harsh myself. Better they learn to handle criticism from me than be devastated by it from others, right? Wrong. So wrong. What I've learned in the 30 years since then, what I've learned from watching my kids raise their own children, is that the world is harsh enough. What children need from home isn't more toughness. They need safety. They need to know that at least one place in the world, they can be exactly who they are, and still be loved completely. David is 42 now. He's successful, responsible, everything I hoped he'd become. But do you know what he told me last year? He said, "Mom, I spent most of my childhood feeling like I was disappointing you. Like nothing I did was ever quite good enough." That broke my heart. Because David was a wonderful child. Smart, funny, kind to his siblings. But because I was so focused on pushing him to be better, he never got the message that he was already enough. Lisa is 40 now, and she struggles with anxiety. She second-guesses every decision, constantly worries about what other people think of her choices. And I wonder how much of that comes from having a mother who was always trying to fix her problems, instead of teaching her that she was capable of handling them herself. Michael is 38, and he's an artist now. A successful one, actually. But it took him years to pursue what he loved, because he'd internalized the message that his creativity was less important than more practical things. I'm proud of what he's accomplished, but I'm sad about all the years he spent believing his gifts didn't matter. Here's what I wish I'd understood then. Children don't need us to make them perfect. They need us to love them while they figure out who they are. They don't need us to solve all their problems. They need us to believe in their ability to solve their own problems, with our support. They don't need us to constantly point out areas for improvement. They need us to notice and celebrate who they already are. When my grandson brought me his math homework tonight, struggling with fractions just like his dad used to, I did something different. Instead of immediately jumping in to help or getting frustrated with his confusion, I said, "Math can be really hard sometimes, can it? You're working so hard on this. I'm proud of how you're not giving up." And you know what happened? His shoulders relaxed. He stopped that panicked breathing. And then he said, "Grandma, can you help me understand this part?" Because when children feel seen and supported instead of judged, they're more willing to ask for help. The irony is that all those years I spent trying to prepare my kids for the world, what I was actually doing was preparing them to feel like they weren't enough for the world. I was teaching them to look outside themselves for approval, instead of helping them develop their own inner compass. If I could go back and tell my younger self one thing, it would be this. Your children are not projects to be perfected. They are people to be loved. Your job isn't to make them into who you think they should be. Your job is to help them become who they're meant to be. Listen more than you teach. Ask questions more than you give answers. Notice what they're doing right more than what they're doing wrong. Believe in them more than you worry about them. And when they mess up, which they will, don't make it about your parenting. Make it about their learning. The goal isn't to raise children who never fail. The goal is to raise children who can fail and still know they're loved. I can't go back and change how I parented 30 years ago, but I can share what I've learned, hoping it might help other parents love their children better than I knew how to love mine. My kids turned out wonderful despite my mistakes, not because of my perfection. They're good people, loving parents, successful in their own ways. But I think they could have had an easier time believing in themselves if I had spent less time trying to improve them and more time simply enjoying them. If you're a parent watching this, here's my gift to you. You don't have to be perfect. Your children don't need you to be perfect. They need you to be present, to be safe, and to be on their side. The world will teach them to be tough. Your job is to teach them to be loved. If this meant something to you, share it with another parent who might need to hear it. And tell me in the comments, what's one thing you wish your parents had said to you more often? Sometimes the simplest words can change everything.